Yeah. Secret Society Productions. Do them and I just do me. Do them and I just do me. Masons think they added, blacks think they national. Celebrating King's speeches at the Capitol. Don't have rights, so they act like an animal, thinking they the baddest in a dead status. Won't listen when I say they brown, not black. Don't think they sound like a clown on crack. Won't realize since their third eyes closed. Don't realize they waste money on clothes. Children with ashy knees, most are obese. Moms don't cook but order pizza with cheese and buckets of the clone chicken is finger licking till your arteries are sticking. Hearts stop ticking. They wanna play the blame game, but it's too late. Most still don't learn till it's too late. I let them do them and I just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. Let the dead do them and I just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. I'm on big book, can't believe they so dead. Talking without thinking, brainless heads, aimless threads. If you're black, you're a slave. Instead of humbling, they delete me from their page, calling me names, but that's no bother. Most are the return of emergency fund robbers, pushing the I'm black to cause friction. That's when I agree and I'm in the jurisdiction. They want me Morisco and at the disco. Caravana isn't carnival, no more calypso. The problem's not the world but the people in it. Abusers of authority got the people timid. Not behind the wheel but giving themselves limits. Things I say make pop eyes without spinach. Too much dead to wake up, work can't finish. The first Jews weren't black or their language Yiddish. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. The dead will do them like they've always done. Won't change unless in front the barrel of a gun. Won't change though Barack said it's that time. Youths killing each other, same content in their rhyme. Rappers mislead, situations critical. When we write that spelling spells are rituals. You might think not, I suggest every thought that you think should be done very careful. Before you give me an earful, my reply, the kind to make your ears tearful. Stomach butterflies won't wonder why. Just accept the message from me from the Most High. That's why most die, cause they don't listen. Nicene Council Conference made you a Christian. Wicked police got circling Kaaba fictions. All law is from my art, they say black Egyptian. Causing separations and black divisions. Brown faces frontline on attack missions. The plot thickens, but it's thin perceptions. Got them spending less time on Jolly than Inception. Voting for candidates whose motive direction is to keep us at risk in priority sections and make us have an altered perception. Decepticons got Autobots with deceptions. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me. And let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. Ask the Garveyite and the NOI too. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about Drew? Go ask the Reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about Drew? Elijah Poole Bay is the Moorish national. Elijah Muhammad is the straw man shadow. York after Malachi is owned by the British. Zadok L is on the bureau waiting for the idiots. Mask of Gods is Nuwapian's birthright. Teach from Nuwapian Morse paper they wanna fight. Circle 7 is the universal flag. I rep that. And Clarence 13X isn't my dad. Zuali came first to save the mindless masses. Went from Moorish conventions to conscious classes. Went from feathers to kufis to baseball hats. Went from Rasta to Moorish. Replace the outside. Replace the RBG banner with a Moroccan flag. Replace Ross with cheek. Blacks get toe tag. Selassie Triple Crown is a fez with no tassel. Showing temple cards as ID with no hassle. Ask the Garveyite and the NOI too. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about Drew? Go ask the reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about Drew? Illuminate rapper masons, rhyming Moorish science, hip-hop renaissance, reverse Earth's global climate. Out the dark ages, many pages get burned without the chance to flip, be read or turn. No learning, blacks enslaved by the vermin. The Moors victim to Inquisition is purging. The government violating the covenant of contract. Hip-hop general Iron Sheik, no squat to bomb tracks. Moors branded like Louisville slugger bats, with a name not theirs, void ab initio contract. Most don't get it, cause they don't study the law, but they come from the galaxy behind the furthest star. To fight legal battles, they hire the bar. Who obtains leave cause you abandoned your rights thus far? Told you on Iron Sheik 2, no need to represent. Just study the prophet and what he presents. Most don't stand for what he defends. Most elders over their mouth, they need the pens. Higher self ascends, lower he descends. Conscious without a nation means he pretends. She pretends, which means we pretend. Pick up abandoned birthrights and the healing begins. Build on pillars strong like 7 North-alleged twins. Iron Sheik 100%, most are partly skimmed. Ask the Garveyite and the NOI too. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your Sifu. How come you don't know about Drew? Go ask the reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about Drew? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about Drew? Islam Moors, peace and love. We're here once again. Here once again. Put it out there. Because it seems like Moors, these temple Moors, trying to play this, they got some monopoly on what Drew Ali brought. As if he only came for these Negroes, blacks, and colors in America only. And keep in mind that a lot of these Moors who are playing this ownership thing, once they start doing that, that means they're selling everybody else out. So somebody in the chat was asking about, well, could we do this in love and guidance each other? We don't play love and all that stuff with traitors and sellouts and dirty Moors. We don't play give them honors and all that stuff. We don't play they're our boy, it's all right what they said and whatever. No, we don't deal with any of that. These people should have been strung up. These people should have been dragged off the podium, got their ass kicked for playing games with people's birthright, with everybody's birthright. That they're trying to limit it to you got to be in the temple in order to get access to. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's universal information. Even Drew Ali said I took away all the secrets. So how's the temple keeping secrets? How's the temple playing like they don't know that this is for everybody? Right? So we're going to deal with this Moorish American thing. Because the people in the temple who don't really have this universal information, they get taught by their handlers. And their handlers tell them what they can say and what they can't say. We're not sanctioned because we don't have handlers. So we talk about whoever, we mention whoever, we bring up whoever, we give you all types of references. We don't just stick to Noble Drew Ali stuff only, as if he's the only one that brought something for our people. The lessons are universal. Everybody needs to get this word, get this gospel. Not just Moors in America only. So somebody sent me this video asking about, are we Moorish Americans? How come? Or are we Moorish Canadians because we're in Canada and talking crazy? Like we say, if you're not studying from the right source, you're going to get played. And somebody who's calling themselves Ali, after Noble Drew Ali told these Moors don't name themselves Ali, yeah, this goof again. Because clearly people don't study.
Because if they were studying, they would already been on Canaanland Moors and seen that we debunked this goof long time ago. Long time ago. But people still sending stuff. So they want to send stuff? All right, fine. We're gonna beat the dead horse. Since you like to see dead horses get beat, we're gonna beat the dead horse and show you again that these people are in supreme violation, not just of Allah and of Moors. They're in violation of noble Jew Ali. They're in violation of the birthrights. They're in violation of constitution, divine constitution, and bylaws. They're in violation of everything. Right? They're in violation of everything. So we're going to put it out there again and use these people as an example so you know. Because if you don't study, if you think that you're going to get by because some Moor over there told you something and you didn't go fact check, you're going to be played. Don't get played. Make sure you are doing your due diligence. Not everybody in a fez with Bay, L, and all that stuff is your brother or sister. They're traitors in this movement whose job is to keep the confusion going. Which is why you're just finding out about this right now. Because you should have been came out the womb with this. You just finding out about this right now? Somebody played you. So you should have been known about this. How come you don't know about this? How come you're just finding out? I just found out about this. What do you mean you just found out about this? Moore's been putting out this information since the 1900s. How are you just finding out? Obviously somebody's been playing you. Obviously somebody had the veil over your eyes so you can't see. Be careful with these Moors. They're here to sell you out. We're letting you know they're here to sell you out. We're letting you know they're here to sell you out.
Enter Ox in playing.
Estados Unidos Mexicanos. How many of y'all knew that? Look it up. Not making this up. When you get a Mexican passport, if you're from Mexico, you get a Mexican passport, it says Estados Unidos Mexicanos, because that's the official name of Mexico. Mexico has several states, just like here does, right? And so when Estados Unidos Mexicanos, when they travel, they're called Mexicans or Mexicanos, okay? I know this for a fact, all right? When people from the United States of America, Estados Unidos America, right, Americano, all right, when you travel, you're called Americano, American, all right? Because you're from the United States of America. That's the official name. The official name of Mexico is Estados Unidos Mexicanos. That means the Mexican United States. That's what it means in English, the Mexican United States.
So that would mean United States is a generic term for everywhere in the Americas. Right? That would mean United States is a generic term for all of the Americas. So Brazilians wouldn't be Brazilian American. They'll be Brazilian United Statesian. And Mexicans would be Mexican United Statesian. And Paraguayans would be Paraguayan United Statesian. They don't call themselves that though, do they? How come they don't call themselves United Statesian if they're in the United States of America? And this is Unidos BS. Stop the dumb stuff. When you go ask Noble Jew Ali, you go to the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America. The Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America. Brazilians, Argentinians, Chileans in South America. Colombians, Nicaraguans, natives of San Salvador, Central America. All of these are Muslims. How come you didn't call them Argentinian Americans? How come you didn't say Mexican Americans and Brazilian Americans? Because that's a fiction. That's a fiction. because all these people are Muslims. They're Muslims. So we go to the Routledge Student Guide to English Usage, a guide to academic writing. You're taught that Muslim is a noun and adjective, is a follower of the religion of Islam. Most modern English dictionaries list this spelling for the religion and organizations such as the Muslim Brotherhood. Note that it is more acceptable to make the first syllable rhyme with P-U-S-S and not B-U-Z-Z. Muslim. Muslim is an older variant spelling. Mohammedan, noun and adjective, is an archaic term for Muslim that is disliked by Muslims. That is disliked by Muslims. Why do they dislike the term Mohammedan? Because they dislike Noble Drew Ali. Because Noble Drew Ali told these Moors in Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America that the Moors are Mohammedans. So what does that mean about Mohammedans? That they're Moors. And if Muslims dislike Mohammedan and Muslim is an older variant spelling of Muslim, then clearly Mohammedans and Moors are relative. And if Muslim is a fiction and Muslim is the older thing, and Noble Drew Ali said, return to the ancient mindset of your foremothers and forefathers, and he's calling all these people in the Americas Muslims, that would mean that all these people in the Americas are Moorish American, not just people in North America only. Brazilians, they're Moorish American. Chileans and all those people, they're Moorish American. But because people don't study and they listen to their handlers, they don't get the full scope of what's going on, because the handlers are keeping them not studying. So we go to this article about Moorish America. What kind of people do live in South America? The Spanish, the Portuguese, but chiefly the descendants of these European races who have intermarried with the Indians. Other nations have made lesser contributions. Brazil, which is only a few days by steamer from West Africa, is 1/3 Negro, the crudest type of Negro on the American hemisphere. There is a strong mark of the Moor upon the Spaniard. The Arabic Moor wrought his customs very deeply into the life of Spain. The people of Mexico and Cuba might be called Moorish Americans rather than Latin Americans. Why would the people of Mexico and Cuba be called Moorish Americans rather than Latin Americans? Because they're Moors. That's why. And it's the trader's job to make sure that you don't figure this stuff out. Have you lost out here? You ask anybody who's a Latin speaker, they'll tell you they're not Negro, they're Moreno and Morena. So if they're Moreno and Morena, wouldn't that mean that they're Moors? And if they're Moors, wouldn't that mean that they're not Mexican and they're not Brazilian and they're not all those fictions? And if they're not those fictions, then how did they end up being called these fictions? Oh, because they're sellout leaders. Because even Fidel Castro came out and told these people that they're Moors. Even Hugo Chavez came out and told these people that they're Moors. They wanted to be that? No, they didn't want to be that. They wanted to be the colonial terms. And then you have your own, supposed to be the adepts and all that stuff, who know about their nationality and birthrights or whatever, going around playing the same denationalization game that this colonist is playing. classifying our people as stuff that they're not. Everybody knows Puerto Ricans aren't Puerto Ricans. That's a fiction. Everybody knows Haiti and Dominican Republic is the same place. How they separate people when they're on the same damn island? They're on the same place, but they're separate people? For real? This is not a fiction. This is a reality. The game that's being played is to keep the people in confusion. The only way the people are confused is when they don't study. That's the only way. The only way that the people stay confused is when they don't study. We tell people study, study, study. Why? Because Juali said study, study, study. Because that's the only way you're going to get yourself out of this mess. It's not going to be some guy over there with a paper to sell you. It's not going to be that. That's not going to be what it is. Many Moors have stepped up to inspire these people to change their thinking so they can change their conditions. Many Moors. There's many Moors who they want to play games with you. They're not here to make sure that you get out of the mess that you're in. They're here to make you stay there. Because you staying there means that they did their job. And who's the author of confusion? The devil. And what's the devil? The lower self. And we're supposed to not even be in the lower self. So how are these people saying that they're Moorish Americans or whatever and they're out here causing confusion? And why would they be out here causing confusion? If they have an obligation to liberate their people. The only reason that the lie continues is because the people do not think for themselves. As soon as you're thinking like the colonists, and then you're listening to somebody who's thinking like the colonists, stuff's over. Stuff's over. Because there's no intention of freeing you. The only job that they have is to keep you in confusion. That's the only thing. And they're going to do everything and say anything to make sure that you're in confusion. Moors who study ain't worried about these people. It's not a Moor who's been studying 10 years that sent me this. The Moor who just came yesterday. Looking for where am I going to get this information from? Oh, well, they say that there are Moors in America, so we're going to go over there. You ever see them on the Moor Avengers video? You ever see them? So why are you going to them for? You ever see them referenced by anybody as somewhere to go? So what are you going there for? How's the guy who came 2 years ago the foremost scholar of whatever? Well, I went on his channel. Yeah, Abdullah up there, and a seer up there, and this guy up there, and that individual up there, and they're teaching yoga and meditation. Okay, but what does that have to do with anything? What is that individual doing? Forget the people that they have on their platform. Forget the people that they use to make a name for themselves. Whether they talk negative about them or whatever it is. What are those individuals doing? If it's crickets, when you ask, hey, what are you doing for the Moorish movement? And then it's just crickets, immediately turn and go the other direction. Don't even waste your time even considering anything that they're saying. I don't care if they have a seer up there. Don't listen to that one. Just like these Moors sending me House of Ram stuff. I ain't going to House of Ram for 2 years. Because I trust no one over there. I don't care whose face is up there. They're not getting my attention. Because I know something's going on over there. Without a shadow of a doubt, I know. Without a shadow of a doubt, I know something's going on over there that's not in line with where we're supposed to be at as Moors. I know that for a fact. That's not my opinion. Because when the right Moors were teaching, they didn't need anybody else to put them on a platform to do whatever. They're just putting out the info. They didn't need somebody else's platform to put out info. They wrote their books. You keep your ear to the street, you knew when the book was coming out. You knew somebody who was at the lecture that, you know what I mean, took their notes. And they give you their notes. There wasn't this thing of, because somebody's on a platform, now you're going to keep going to that platform. What do you mean? They did one class on that platform. Now you're sitting there watching everything from these people on the platform? How does that work? That's not how it's supposed to work. Especially when people are popping up on these platforms who, quote unquote, are credible and all that stuff. They're credible. But then they're on that platform one time. You go on Canaanland Moors and look up all the names that you think are somebody in this. And see how much stuff we did with those people. There's no one thing that we did with them. And there's no, we did one thing with them and then 50 things with dirty Moors, or confused Moors, or new Moors, or no fez, no turban Moors, and then, you know, one more thing from the master teacher, and then 25 things. That's not how it goes. You ever notice, you never heard, you never seen anybody? You never heard anybody other than the mothers on MHHS, unless the people called in? Why? How come? How come you don't have people going on there getting interviewed by them or whatever? How come? Because it's not needed. Because you have the master teacher right there. What more do you want? What more do you want? You need more than what they're giving you? Then you seriously need a detox. You need to get off the internet altogether. Go to a library and go study. Get the hell off the internet. Go to a library. Good luck with COVID and all that stuff. So now you're stuck online with these clowns that you have to deal with. And obviously they're not telling you what's what. Because if they were telling you what's what, you wouldn't be confused. If they were giving you the reference points, like we say, go on Asir's YouTube. Find me somebody Asir interviewed on his thing where it's his platform, but he has some other moron there trying to teach you something 50 times. Find me that. You never find it. Why? Because that's the guy right there. You don't need him to tell you some other guy's coming on here because they're bringing the real info. No, he's got the real info. He give you so much books, make your head spin. You can't even find Grand Sheik Nature stuff online. And if you do, it's 5 things. And again, only him. You go and look, you say, oh, okay, let me go watch 10 of his videos. 10 of his videos is him only. How come you didn't interview somebody else to bring them up and come talk to you about some Moorish or whatever? Because that's the actual guy. That's who you should be listening to, not who he's bringing up. What you get caught up doing? Oh, well, I saw Taj on House of Ram, so I'm going to be on House of Ram forever. What are you talking about? Oh, I saw Taj's picture on Moorish Consular Court, so now I'm going to go to the guy in China to go get stuff because he showed a picture of Taj looking through the stuff and that means Taj sanctioned something. Really? That's what that means? And again, stuff's only happening because people don't study. You think we can't go in the phone and call Taj right now and all that stuff? What are we calling him for? We study. We don't need him. He already did his job. He already inspired us to do what we're supposed to do. Just go check. Just go on Canaanland Moors and look up all the names of who you consider master teacher. Guarantee we had them on the platform. 3,000 videos on there. Trust me, we've interviewed the best of the best. Moors and Europeans. The best of the best. The top shelf is what you get with us. Why? Because ain't nobody else for you to go to. We push RV Bay website more than our own websites with our own books on there. Why? Because ain't nowhere else for you to go. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. Anybody talking crazy about go somewhere else other than RV Bay Publications as your base of study with regard to Moorish information, they're about to play you. Guaranteed they're about to play you. We're letting you know they're about to play you. And we're talking from that perspective because we're on the site. How come you don't see any of these other Moors who's talking crazy? Oh yeah, we're the Moors that you should go. Are they on RV Bay Publications? If not, don't even waste your time. When you go on there, what you see on there? Moors Order Round Table, Clock of Destiny, Canaanland Moors. What more you want? You want more than that? If you don't have a base in this information, you're going to leave this more confused when you came in than when you came in, or you're going to turn around and go the other way thinking that this is not where it's at. This is not where it's at. This is exactly where it's at. And we're telling Moors, you better put some time into studying. And there should be no novices out here being anything, called anything, starting up anything, unless you have 5-7 years in. If you don't have 5-7 years in, go sit down in the corner and go study. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. They just came 3 years ago and now they're the emperor of something. What are you talking about? Where were you in 2008? How come none of these riffraffs were around in 2008 talking this crazy stuff that they're talking right now? None of them. Like we said on the weekend, Hakeem Bey's been going on 40 years in this. 40 years. He's been before RV Bay Publications. People don't even know what Moorish paradigm is, but they know consular court. People don't even know what Moorish paradigm is, but they know House of Ram. People don't even know Moorish consular court. You don't know that's a fiction. Those people are FBI. That's not real. That's not a real Moorish whatever. That's a fiction. Majority of individuals who are new to this information are learning from people who are just as new as them. Just as new as them. And they don't even have anything to prove. They don't have anything to show that they're credible. They just take a picture with somebody, post that online, and then everybody thinks, oh yeah, well, they got a picture with him, so that means they're credible. No, it does not mean that. It does not mean that. Because the author of confusion is the devil, and the devil is the lower self. If you go to some Moors and they tell you something and then you leave them and you're scratching your head or whatever like that, that was the devil that you just dealt with. Those weren't Moors. Those are people that you need to go get the hacksaw and saw their horns off. Make a necklace. The time for games is going to carry on because of this COVID stuff and everybody has to be online. You're going to be more confused than you ever were if you think you're confused now. you're going to be more confused than you ever were. You better have a base. You better have a solid foundation of competent Moorish master teachers that you are studying from. Because if you don't, you're going to be in serious trouble. Because this is about studying to know yourself. This is about studying to know yourself. Like we said the other day, if you're not a Moor who picks up a book to go study, and then you look up from the book and 2 days went by, you're not studying. You're playing games. If you're a Moor who, for example, on the weekend, right, when we did our Noble Drew Ali celebration, our lecture series, do you know one of the Moors at the temple who was taking notes? You know he left that thing with 30 pages of notes? 30 pages of notes from 6-hour lecture with the master teachers. 30 pages, front and back. That's studying. That is studying. Because then you're going to have to go through all those 30 pages after. Then you go through all the stuff or whatever like that. Then you fact check everything, research everything that was told. And then on top of those 30 pages, you might come out with another 50 pages after that. That's what studying is. If you're talking about, yeah, I'm studying, and then you have one book and you're reading that from the cover to the cover, and then that's not studying. That's not what studying is. People have you fooled into thinking push play, that's studying. That's not studying. That's watching videos. And watching videos is not studying. Trust me, watching videos isn't studying. You know what it means to have 30 pages of notes? And not mad that you got 30 pages of notes. You're amped that you got 30 pages. You can't wait to go over all these pages of notes that you got. If you're not looking at it like that, you might as well throw in the towel now and go back to being nigger. Because this is not for you. This is definitely not for you. And we're letting you know. The foundation, of course, is what Noble Drew Ali brought. The first to teach our people about Islam in America. Yes, consider everything that he brought. But don't think that that's the all and be all. Some guy in a temple telling you that's all that there is. That's not all that there is. This Moorish paradigm is vast like the universe. Vast like your mind. And the only way that you're going to get out is if you put in. And the only thing you can put in is time. To getting your mind right. Because it's not going to be, you're in this 2 years, now you're the master of the whatever, you're the emperor, and you're going to start a nation, and let's bring these Moors together so we could be a nation. 2 years? Really? How long you been Moor? I proclaim my nationality in, as soon as you start talking like that, you don't even know what you're talking about. I became a Moor. If that's how you're talking, you don't even know what you're talking about. You better put on your dunce cap, go in that corner over there. Because you're talking crazy. Became a Moor. People have malicious intent in this Moorish movement. People have supreme malicious intent. They're going to tell you, don't go to RV Bay. They're going to tell you, go listen to, some platform. And then you go check the platform, and they used to be an ex-pastor. And then you don't think something's wrong here? You don't think that's a Morisco? You even know the different names of Moors to even know a Morisco different from a Moorish American, different from a Muslim, different from... You don't even know what the difference is. Because you haven't put in the time to study. The theme is if you're really real about this, you're going to go study. You're going to go make sure that you study. It's not going to be some... You think you're going to go do that. Well, should I go study? No, you're going to go study. Point blank period. Because you're not going to get what you're supposed to get out of this. Like C. Free Manella was saying, you're not going to study to be something that you think you're already that. You just have to cultivate what you are. You just have to cultivate who you are. You're not going to become something other than what you already are. And if you go check your natal chart and all that stuff, you're going to know who you are. And then you cultivate that. You maximize the best of your abilities that you were born with. There's no going out there to go get something. Because we're telling you, people are out here playing games with you. Straight playing games. Lying on people. Talking about they this and they that when they're a liar. Straight liar. They're going to tell you about when they were Moors and then they fell off from being Moors and then they came back onto being Moors. How come they fell off? What happened? How come they were Moors and then they stopped being Moors? You hear nothing from them, and then now they're Moors again, and then you're chasing them around as if they're credible. They're starting from zero at that point. They're not. They don't add that up, right? They don't add that up. Oh yeah, and these Moors could go get that. Just go on Canaanland Moors YouTube. Common Sense Quickies number 38, Moorish Canadian, for anybody who's confused. If you really think that you can be, your nationality could be a corporation. If your nationality could be a corporation, you better go watch some Common Sense Quickies, because the long stuff is probably too much for your attention span. Somebody give up on the nationality and birthrights. They were with this. They said, forget this. I don't have faith in Noble Juali and all that stuff. Leave. And then get back on this. And then now you're looking at them as credible. They're not credible. And like we're telling you, anybody who's talking crazy about RV Bay Publications, I don't care who they are. Anybody who's talking crazy about them, they're playing you. Because nobody can talk crazy about the mother. Because if you talk crazy about one mother, you talk crazy about all of them. And that's not what this is about. This is about honoring mother. It's not about talking crazy about them. I don't care if you don't like them. If you don't like them, shut the hell up. So you start talking crazy about them, you're letting us know that you're patriarchal. We know that they're patriarchal. Because only patriarchs will talk crazy about the mother. And they're trying to convince you that, oh, well, we're Moorish Americans because we're descendants of Moroccans, and as if Moroccans didn't come from their mother. The hell are you talking about? Where Moroccans come from? Where the ancient gods of whatever come from? All of them came from a mother. All of them. Whatever you call them, they came from a mother. Don't let anybody talk nuts to you about RV Bay Publications. As soon as they start talking crazy about RV Bay Publications, know that they are a traitor and a sellout, because they're Bo Abdil. getting spit in their face by their mom because they're a traitor. That's the same way you should be dealing with them. As soon as they start talking crazy about RVB, spit in their face. Stop talking crazy. As soon as they open their mouth, spit in it. As soon as they start talking crazy. Nobody can talk crazy. Why not? Because they put in their work. Whether it's blog talk, whether it's literature, whether it's classes, whether it's the online university, rvbaypublications.com, whether it's giving you all the Moore's Order of the Round Table books that you couldn't get, which was only limited to you got to come to sit at the master teacher's feet and then the books will be on the table so you could buy them. If you didn't go, you ain't getting access. All this stuff, people selling papers and all that stuff today, where do you think they get that brilliant idea from to have paperwork? Where do you think they get that from? They got that from the mothers. They're going to be out here talking crazy about all the master teachers. You name them. They're going to talk crazy about RV Bay Publications, like we told you. They're going to talk crazy about Taj Tariq Bey, Moore's Order of the Round Table. They're definitely going to talk crazy about Exhuming of a Nation and Pleasant Bay. They're going to definitely talk crazy about that book because he's not in the temple and he's not really a Moor and they got a fake flag and they got a fake government and they got... We're not talking about all that. We're talking about the lessons. Have you read the book? No? You didn't read the book? Then don't talk BS. Don't talk crazy. Don't be mad because you didn't have the intellectual fortitude to put out a 400-page book about the Moors to assist these Moors in getting their stuff together. And that book ain't telling you about join some Moorish American government or whatever. That's telling you the Moorish lessons. History, science, law, all that. In one book. They're going to talk crazy about Alim El Bey and Kadir El Bey. They're going to talk crazy about Asir, the Duke of Tears, and the Empress of 10,000 Years. They're going to talk crazy about Canaanland Moors. They're going to talk crazy about MHHS Eyes Wide Open. They definitely talk crazy about them, but then they'll never call in to get cussed out by the mothers when they talk crazy. They'll talk crazy in secret over there. Right? Just ask the people who tried to go to the classes in Harlem and talk crazy. And muftis had to kick them out of the class because they're talking crazy. Just go ask them. How come they got kicked out? They're going to tell you some BS. They're not going to tell you that they tried to call highwaymen on the muftis and all that stuff. They didn't take their L. They didn't take their L. They didn't hold that because they were talking crazy about the mothers, disrespecting the mothers in their own platform. They're not talking about that. They're not going to bring that up. They're going to try to make you think that, oh yeah, well, you know, we were riding with them and we were selling their books, and so why are you not selling their books anymore? What happened? How come you stopped selling their books? Why? What is it? What is the reason? Because there's no books on that website that aren't credible. Every single book on that website, everybody should get. Every single book on there. There's not one book on there that doesn't apply to your getting yourself right. So why would somebody, just like we're saying, why would somebody be part of the Moorish movement and then not be part of it? Unless they were already a traitor and a sellout. And then they're going to pop up and tell you, oh yeah, you know, consultation, come to us because we got the right information, and you know, $80 an hour for consultation. How come you weren't doing consultation when you were selling RV Bay books? Don't get played. They're going to definitely talk crazy about Noble Drew Ali. Matter of fact, they're not even going to mention them. They got turbans, fezzes on. You go on their websites or whatever like that. They I Self-Law, Master, Brother Truth, and all that stuff. You go on their website, no Noble Drew Ali on there. They're not even quoting Noble Drew Ali, but they're trying to tell you about something about Moors and birthrights or whatever. Please. All these people are traitors. Told you. Go to Canaanland Moors. Go watch the Moor Avengers. Go watch the Moor Avengers and see who you should study from as a reference points. Right? Oh yeah, they definitely talk crazy about CMB. Why they do that? Because he's revealing stuff that they should have been revealing since before him. Why aren't they revealing it? Why aren't they putting it out there? Because then it makes them unimportant. And once they become unimportant, then obviously you didn't need them in the first place. Obviously you didn't need them in the first place. Obviously you didn't need them. So this is a call out to all the Moors who are getting into this information, that whoever you're choosing to study from, they better have at least 10 years in this. At least 10 years in this, if you're studying from them. There's a few who don't have 10 years that are credible, but few like 2 or 3. Not few like, 10 or something like that. Few, like literally, there's probably 2 or 3 Moorish teachers, institutions, organizations, associations, whatever, that they're credible after 2-3 years, because they're in this from the spirit perspective of it. They're not in this from, they know something. They're in this from the spirit of, as soon as when they got this, light bulb went off in their head and they hit the ground running. And again, when you're in this virtual realm, if you're in this virtual realm, right, take advantage of even people that you see in these chats, because you're looking at the people as the master teacher with the 10 years and, oh my God, we're gonna chase them or whatever, but then they got people in these chats that study more than these master teachers because they're so busy doing stuff that they don't even have time to really study like that. And there's more credible than them as far as study. Who they can show and prove. Who they can show and prove. Not just talk about it. They can show you what they've done to make them have the position that they have. There's a lot of games being played. Don't get gamed. Like we say, Moors who's studying, they're on here just for support. They probably ain't doing nothing. They're taking some time, jump on the live. But they don't need this like that. They're studying. We ain't worried about those Moors. We worry about these Moors coming into this confused that they're sending me Moors in America asking me if they're credible. They came yesterday. I don't care what they got up there. That's not the spot. They're denationalizing a whole body of Moors by talking about the Moors in Canada. Those Moors are Moorish Canadian. They're not Moorish American. Noble Drew Ali didn't say that. Noble Drew Ali said Moorish Americans of North America. Where's Canada at? Not North America? How come he didn't say Moorish Canadian? Why? Why didn't he say Moorish Canadian? Because it doesn't exist. That's a fiction. Moorish United Statesian. It doesn't exist. That's a fiction. We employ Moors who are getting into this information. Fact check the people. You know when they say this thing about they would talk about how when Moors from the temple see me, they ask me who's my grand sheik or whatever. That's not a fictitious thing. That's a real thing. But you're not asking as far as the name or whatever. You're asking so they can prove who it is that they got their information from. If somebody says, who's your grand sheik? You say, my grand sheik's Kudro El. Oh, no, you don't want to listen to him because, guarantee you, they're a traitor. We've been around since 2008. And we haven't budged from our position. Our position, give people the right reference points and point out all the traitors and all the sellouts and all the dirty people who have no intentions of you being free. You haven't budged. And based on all the Moors who we know that ran to this, because I like how they teach or whatever over there, because they're not running this like a church. Letting you know, putting it out there. The base for majority of Moors, the base is rvbaypublications.com. That's the foundation. That's the starting point. From there, then you kick off and go check some other stuff because you have a foundation. The base, MHHS, eyes wide open. That's the base. You listen to some of those blog talk shows, you're going to get something from them. You're not going to get somebody telling you what it is. You're going to get somebody giving you reference points. That's the key. Being able to have reference points. The reference points are going to lead you where you're supposed to go. Right? The reference points, the correct reference points. It's like the breadcrumbs. So you can get through the forest and get back to wherever. Drop the breadcrumbs so you can follow them back to where you came from. Because we're not telling you. We know people are playing games out here. Like we said, we know of people who went to ISOF Law and Master, for example, that they're living out of their car because those people's paperwork didn't work. Whatever they sold them, whatever class they told them to go to, didn't work. We know people who went to contract law classes, paid their $500, and because they went in with a base of contract law, because they took that in school, university or whatever, when they got out of that $500 class, they're like, what the hell is this? I didn't learn anything. These people didn't even teach me as much stuff as I learned in university. Stuff was a waste of time and finance that I could have put to RV Bay Publications or whatever like that and got some books and feel good about myself after. You know, contract law 500, you go to Rise of the Moors, get books from there. That'll give you more stuff than these people's class that they got telling you 500. Even the more that we did a live with, and he was showing his self-made study guide that he got just from copy and pasting on RVB. Just copy and pasting. Free. No paying for anything, no nothing. Free. Just copy paste. Left with so much stuff off there that That could be its own study guide. Do not get played out here by your own. Because we keep talking about this European and Europeans. The European ain't no devil more than our people who's the devil. I'll tell you that. I'm looking at a European as a European is some evil, whatever like that. Who created the European? That's the guy you have to watch out for. That's the guy. That's who you watch out for. Don't worry about the hybrid. Worry about who created the hybrid. Well, yeah, I got the DM for Friday. So yeah, we'll be in there. We'll definitely be in there. If you have any questions, put it in the chat in all caps. If not, it's about lunchtime right now. Get fat, be back later. But we even deal with Drew Ali, and it's still Moorish American week. And again, we ask you, go check all these platforms, all these little pages of whatever, Moorish, whoever. How many of these people doing something for Drew Ali? It's Moorish American week, not just Noble Drew Ali's birthday and that's it and it's over. It's Moorish American week. All these people with superior claims of they're the emperor of whatever. What are they doing for Drew Ali? Nothing? Or they're having some closed door thing that you're not invited unless you're part of the temple. That's not Moorish American week stuff. That's clubism. That's Masonic, Prince Hall, Moorish Science Temple, Boule stuff. If they're having some closed door celebration that's not public for everybody to be involved with, right? Then if it's not being public, they're playing you. Where can I find a proper natal chart? There's no real proper natal chart like that from that perspective, because natal chart is what it is. Like nobody can lie about that. Date and time is numerology. Numbers don't lie, especially when they line up with the universe. The only way you get played is if somebody tells you about 500 for a natal chart when you can plug the stuff in yourself, pay $20 and get the stuff done. Just going on Google. But if you're not equipped with the astrological connection to really have the breakdown, then you might want to get it interpreted by an astrologer, which is where I usually do. I have multiple astrologers who I would go to. And you just have those in your pocket. You give them their 50 notes or their 100 notes or whatever like that, and you sit down for 2 hours and get yourself a reading. And again, like we said, just take a look at the chat. Moore is giving you references right now with regard to natal chart. Moore is giving you references right now. And that is the unity. Now they're talking about, well, the Moors aren't unified. Oh yeah, all right, whatever. Because guarantee, if you go to some of these other platforms, you're not getting any anymore is jumping up and saying, oh yeah, go here, check here, here's a book, here's a reference point, here's some information, here's a website, here's whatever. You're not getting that from everywhere. Yeah, yes, you could read them from your point of view, but just like we're saying, you could come into this and read about Moorish science from your point of view, or you can go to a master teacher to get a broader perspective. And that's what it's about, having a broader perspective. Because your point of view might be a pinhole. Somebody else's point of view might be a saucer. Somebody else's point of view could be, you know what I mean, a black hole. The black hole point of view is going to be way bigger than your little pinhole or whatever that you think you figured stuff out. Yeah, that's a good one. You could go on YouTube, look up Astrology Street, and get at Brother Hassan. He can put you on some game. And that's the key. Being open. Being a sponge. But, you know, it's all good when you got the sponge and then you know, collecting water. But you got the sponge and mud or whatever, the sponge is going to be useless eventually. Because you're never going to get all that mud out the sponge. You won't get all that mud out the sponge. There's always going to be some remnants of the mud in the sponge, which is why Juali said clean and pure and all that stuff. Keep your body clean with water and all that. You know, again, all those things are reference points. So you can have direction. Because like you said, a block of wood could point you in a direction of where to go. But that's just a block of wood. I ain't telling you anything. You have to, after you see the block of wood pointing in a direction, now you have to walk the path. So the astrologer is a block of wood. They tell you everything about yourself. But you have to be the one to take these lessons, study them, apply them to your life so you can actually see the benefit of what it means to do a chart and whatever like that. Or to have a chart done. Right? And then remember as well, everything is not going to be taught in a 2-hour, 4-hour, 6-hour, 20-hour lecture. You're not getting everything there. So don't think that that's the all and be all either. That, oh yeah, this one video has all the stuff that you're going to... No, it doesn't work like that either. Anybody pushing that on you is tripping too. It's not going to be no one place that you're going to go and get the all and be all. Right? And like certain people, you know, after a certain time, they realize that people are playing games and they don't really want this information like that, and then they go underground. Then you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. So when you can, get it. Get as much as you can. Again, be a sponge mind. Because the only way you're going to get out of this is what you put in. And the best thing you could put in is time to make sure that you activate the inner forces. Mind, spirit, soul, activate those things. Intelligence, clairvoyance, intuition, activate those. It'll definitely help you on your journey. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Be back again sometime today. Still early. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to all the mothers. And of course, supreme honors to the Prophet, Noble Jew Ali, for all his work that he did, taking away all the secrets and giving us everything it takes to save a nation, and inspiring us through example to save ourselves. Not inspiring us through talking, inspiring us through example to save ourselves. And all honors to all the Moors who are being a living example. All the Moors who are being a living, a boots to the ground example of what this means. A boots to the ground example of what this is. Because really it's about what you do. It's really about when you get this information, what you do with it. You telling people $500 for a consultation for 1 hour? Or are you going to the hedges and the highways, inspiring our people, assisting our people? Quick story before we go. Amor called me. This is the level of where it's at. I seen Rise of the Moors the other day. Went to wherever to do their food, clothing, giveaway, whatever to the people, because as Moors, we're supposed to uplift fallen humanity, right? Moor shall remain nameless, but a Moor was just going to the store or something. Seen a lady begging for change. He didn't go in his pocket and give her change. He didn't go in the pocket and give her change. He took his jacket off his back and gave it to the homeless individual. And then he went to the store to go get her something to eat, and the store guy said, "Don't even worry about paying for this. What you want it for? Oh, for the homeless lady? Oh, no, here, take this. Just take this." That's the level where it has to be at. It's not about just waking up our people that they're not Negro, black, colored, or whatever like that. That's superficial. That's superficial. It's about assisting those who need it the most. And majority of our people who are classified as Negro, black, colored, they're content being there. So don't worry about them. The little brother who need any breakfast or anything like that, help him out. Little sister who, you know what I mean, is being abused or whatever like that, help her. The mother who's having problems with her son because, you know what I mean, dad's a deadbeat or whatever like that, be a example. I mean, that's what we're saying about being a living example. Be the example that when Moors come up, nobody can say anything crazy. Because all they've seen and heard is about Moors doing good. All they know is, oh, Moors? Oh, yeah, we saw those Moors giving out stuff. We saw those Moors teaching people. We saw the Moors carrying some ladies' bags. We saw the Moor, you know what I mean, pay for some ladies' groceries. We heard that Moor did what... Be a living example. And we'll get out of this. We're already there. We're already there. I mean, that's really your dues. What are you doing to make the Moors look positive? You playing church with this? It's not. You playing opportunist? That's not where it's at. You being a humanitarian? You got squirrels running up to you and stuff like that? You got hawks landing on your balcony and stuff like that? Then you're doing something. Then you're doing something. Ladybugs landing on you and all that stuff, you're doing something. Peace and love to all the Moors. Honors to all Moors worldwide. Give honors to Allah for sending us our Prophet. And honors to all the mothers for giving us life. Islam, Moors. We'll be back sometime later, because you know there's enough for all of us to do 50 times over. Peace and love, Islam.